Hey everyone, Mitch Boerner here from Legendary Plumbers. I wanted to start sending out some content. This is something that I've wanted to do for so long. The reason that I wanted to share my knowledge with the community was, I think there's a bit of a gap. If you're like me and you're an entrepreneur and you own a business, whether it's plumbing, HVAC, carpentry, whatever it might be. I grew up in this area. I've lived in this area for 30 years of my life. We currently service a 10-kilometer radius from this local area, so a very, very small patch, and I'll explain later why that is. How we came about, let's just quickly rewind 10, 15 years. I started my apprenticeship as a chef, so I'm not a qualified plumber. My brother and business partner is a plumber, so I started as a chef. I got qualified. I learned some very interesting skills as a chef, how to prepare, how to be on time, how to keep things moving. So very valuable skills that turned out extremely valuable for being in a plumbing business. After that, I went into food costing. So my understanding of recipes and breaking things down has been very helpful. Same with plumbing. We break down our price book into a recipe book. So you want to do a hot water unit, you need a tempering valve, a non-return valve, copper. It's all a recipe at the end of the day. Time, labor, how much time to install the product, it's all the same. So I went from chef to costings. Then I went into a bit of a jaunt into the music industry where I traveled around with a band from Melbourne. I did that for 5 years, traveling around the world and traveling around the country, playing 150 shows a year, which was fantastic, and it was a lot of fun. Coming back from that, I did a stint in the real estate industry, 3 years. Got to the top of my game, or the top of where I wanted to get to, was doing several $100,000 a year in commission. I really dominated in one particular market area. I specialized in that. I really honed my sales skills. So it was a fantastic 3-year, 4-year experience. And then COVID hit. I decided I really didn't like my real estate life. It wasn't giving me the fulfillment that I wanted. Sure, the money was good, but it really wasn't satisfying me. It wasn't fulfilling me. And I wanted something that I could scale. You know, for me, I wanted to have a business that had 200 employees. I wanted a business that could grow. Unless I'm going to go and own a real estate agency, which I had very little interest in, it was not a business that I could have grown to that type of size. So I was already on the fence about it. COVID hit. We weren't allowed to do open for inspections. I opened a cabin business with my family. So my family had a cabin business in New South Wales. I opened that branch up here in Victoria, and we started immediately building granny flats, cabins, cabanas, kit homes. That was really enjoyable. I partnered with a builder. That was a 1 year, 2 year jaunt. That was good. I mean, we really learned a lot. And from that process, I ended up hiring a plumber to come and do the plumbing for our cabins, which happened to be my brother Jacko. I worked with him throughout that process, which was enjoyable. He came and plumbed our cabins, and I kept selling them. He left his job at a commercial plumbing company where he'd been for 5 or 6 years. He left that company. I called him up. He went out on his own, actually. I called him up and I said, Jacko, I've got some spare time. What do you reckon about going and doing a plumbing business, and a business for real, a big business, a big plumbing business? At first, definitely was not interested. He said to me, no, I don't want to have staff. He'd kind of just gone out on his own. He had this idea about, I want to do, 150 grand a year, 100 grand a year as a plumber on my own. And I think this is like the Australian dream. It's like you go out on your own and you make all this money. Obviously, quickly, we ran the numbers for him and turned out to not be a reality, as most people are finding on their own. And it's also a lot of hard work. I mean, that was a big one for him. I said to him, sure, money aside, let's say you can get the money you want, but ultimately being on the tools for the rest of your life is not something that he wanted to do. It's not even something that we encourage our staff to do. Our guys here who are currently on the tools, we're like, let's work out a 5 or 10 year plan to get you off the tools so that you don't have to do this forever. I think that was a really important turning point for him. Long and the short of it is, took a bit of convincing, but eventually I said to him, look, let's do something. We sat down in the backyard on a sunny day, pondering ideas, making suggestions for what this business might look like. As a tradie, and again, no disregard to my brother's a fantastic person and a great worker, but again, different life experience. He's been a plumber for 10 years, and I'd been in the office environment, I'd been in the selling environment, I'd been in a completely different environment, which is kind of what gave us this kind of yin and yang thing that worked really well. I knew nothing about what he did, and he knew nothing about what I did, and so we stayed out of each other's way. and we kind of just agreed with each other on most things. And anything that we couldn't agree on, we kind of went to the oracle, which should be Google or YouTube, to kind of see what other people were doing and learn from that, or books and what have you. That was in 2021. We signed the paperwork in July, I think it was, literally 1st of July, something like that. We're sitting in the backyard with my wife throwing out names, and we said, we want a name that says, those guys were legends. Believe it or not, there was about 50 names. After saying we want guys that are legends, there was about 50 other names before we came up with Legendary. I don't know how that happened. My wife just happened to say, what about Legendary? And from that moment on, we had the brand, we had the company, we started designing logos, started designing websites, getting all that happening. From then on, it's been a really interesting journey. We literally started with my brother's small collection of customers. We did a little bit of high pages. We did work for friends. We started off not charging anywhere near enough, like sub $100. We were like $70 or $80 an hour, which obviously, as you can appreciate as a business owner, was just not even possible to even turn any kind of profit. We started a partnership with Reese, who has been by our side literally from day one. We put applications in, I think, with every single supplier that we could. Reese was the only company that called us back. They came to our aid, helping us get our first tools. They helped us get our first orders underway, our first bit of credit, our first credit extension in terms of going from $5,000 to $10,000 credit limit, which was fantastic. So they've been with us the whole way. I think 6 months, let's say 3 to 6 months, we had trialed our first employee. At this time we were working out of a garage at home. That didn't work out successfully. They wanted to pursue another career doing something else. Then we met a young chap by the name of Bailey. He was basically like the saving grace at that time. He was a fantastic young guy with a great spirit. He was a great worker. He was a great plumber. He did a fantastic job for us. He's off on a new journey interstate now, but he was really the starting point to show us that if you find the right people, the people who have what we refer to now as the legendary spirit, that you can really build something successful. And he believed in us from the very beginning, and we're very thankful to him for that. And it really helped us. It helped us because all of a sudden we had someone who was credible and had someone who was like, yeah, I work here, and these guys are good, and this business is good. And from then on, we were able to build. We had 1 employee, 2 employees, 3 employees, I think, by the first year. We are now at 13 employees here in this business. We have a commercial space, as you can see. One day I'll do a little bit of a tour of this, but we have a commercial facility here. We have 12 trucks. We have pick-pack systems, an organization, a business that's doing in the multi-millions. We have big customer orders. We have a sales rep that's out on the road. And I think to wrap this up, just a little bit about this business. We are dual trade, so we've got Legendary Plumbers and Legendary Electrical, which we started the electrical division about 12 months ago, and I'll share some information about that in the coming videos. We are a general maintenance business. We are 50% commercial and 50% residential. We do general maintenance only, so we are replacing toilets, replacing cisterns, toilet parts, tap washers, tap installs, water tank installs, guttering. We do metal roofing as well. Nothing that is new. So when I say new, I'm talking about no new builds, no renovations, no new entire roof for a house, for a new home. We are in the repair business. We don't work for any builders. We don't do anything that's not within really 10K radius here. This podcast and these videos are going to be here to share with you. I don't want to talk about the long history every time. I want to get to the point, but I thought I'd at least start with some context so you had an idea of who we are and what we do. Please send me a comment if you want to know something specific about this business. I will start talking over the next few weeks about costings, about pricing, about price books, about how we set up our trucks, about how we go about answering the phone. What do our CSRs say on the phone when somebody answers the call? How much do we charge? How do we collect payment? Do we collect the card fee? Do we charge for deposits? How do we do our finances? How do we do our bookings? How do we do our pay? How much do we pay our guys? All of that information will be revealed. That's what I want to share with you because this community is fantastic. I couldn't believe it when I joined the plumbing industry that there is so much to learn in this industry. There's so many people that want to help each other out, and this is overall one of the best industries with the biggest amount of growth that I've ever seen. The reality is this business is rock solid, and it's only ever growing. It's moving forward. It's a fantastic place to be. I'm Mitch Boerner from Legendary Plumbers, and I'll see you soon.